Would you like to see the underworld? Do you want access to it? Those of you with an affinity for darkness will like the secret spot of this episode. What started as a drilling rig in search for oil collapsed into a disaster that became a portal to hell on earth. Despite being located in the middle of the desert and having a frightfully dark appearance, hundreds of people from around the world travel to see this wonder every year. Geologists identify this location as the Darvaza Gas Crater, but locals know it as the Gates of Hell. Turkmenistan is an independent country located between Kazakhstan and Iran. It also possesses shorelines on the Caspian Sea. This country is slightly larger than the state of California, but unlike the Sunshine State, who has a population of nearly 40 million, Turkmenistan has a population of 6 million. In other words, the country is sparsely populated. Culturally, Turkmenistan has Indo-Iranian and Mongolian influence, and historically, they have been part of the Islamic world. In the late 19th century, however, Russian forces began occupying its territories. This military expedition culminated into the Battle of Göbekli, where Turkmen resistance was crushed by the Russian army. They were soon annexed into the Russian Empire in 1879. Turkmenistan remained a part of Russia for over a century. However, when the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, Turkmenistan declared its independence that same year. Since its 1991 sovereignty, the country has been slowly reforming its economy, with natural gas and cotton as its two primary exports. In fact, Turkmenistan possesses the fourth largest natural gas deposits in the world. This enormous reserve is what started the story of the Gates of Hell. In 1971, Turkmenistan was still part of Russia, which at the time was known as the Soviet Union. The Soviets knew that the country had one of the largest oil deposits in the world and wanted to capitalize on that liquid gold. Soviet geologists and engineers went near the center of the country in search of oil. After several months, they found what they believed to be an oil field near a village called Darvaza and began drilling. They soon discovered that the site had natural gas instead of oil. What they did not know, however, was that they were drilling on top of an underground cavern. This pocket could not support the weight of their equipment, and suddenly, it all collapsed into a deep pit. Just how big is that pit? It has a diameter of 230 feet, a depth of 98 feet, and a total surface area of 57,000 square feet. Fortunately, no one was injured in this incident, but the engineers and geologists soon had another problem on their hands: the natural gas escaping. Animals roaming the area began to die, and what's worse, the escaping methane is highly flammable. 5% methane in the air is all that's required for an explosion to be able to take place. So, the scientists had to do something about it. What's the solution they came up with? Set it ablaze. That's right, they set the crater on fire. Now, this action was actually not outside the norm. In fact, it is an industry standard. While oil can be stored in tanks, natural gas needs to be processed immediately. If an excess of natural gas cannot be piped into a facility, drillers burn it. This process is known as flaring. As a side note, every year, 150 billion cubic meters of gas is burned into the atmosphere through flaring. This represents $21 billion in potential revenue loss each year. This is a huge opportunity for entrepreneurs and engineers to solve. I hope one of my viewers tackle this problem. Anyway, unlike most flaring situations where the excess of natural gas is measured and known, the Soviet scientists in Turkmenistan did not measure the amount of natural gas in that crater. They assumed it to be light, saying the fire would go out in 2 weeks. They were wrong. 2 weeks passed and the fire was still burning. Then 6 months, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years. You get the point. It has now been 49 years and the fire in that crater is still burning. To this day, scientists still don't know how much natural gas is feeding it, so it may burn for another 40 years or so. After visiting the crater in 2010, the Turkmenistan president worried that the fire would threaten the country and ordered local authorities to fill the crater. But then 3 years later, he apparently changed his mind. declaring the crater to be a natural reserve. In fact, in 2019, when rumors that he had died were circulating the country, the president recorded himself doing donuts around the crater to disprove these false allegations. The crater is still burning today, attracting wild animals and people from around the world, oddly enough. Those of you who want to pay hell a visit can save this location on a Cityscape app. Despite being in the middle of the desert in an obscure country, word about the crater has somehow managed to spread and even make it to popular culture. The star of the show Angry Planet, George Clooney, was the first person to set foot at the bottom of the crater. The Gates of Hell was also used in the 2014 Godzilla film. An edited photograph of the crater showed agents around the fiery pit, perhaps waiting for Godzilla to come out of it and bless us with his presence. I do think this location is an amazing site for horror footage, so my film creators out there should definitely visit. The fire may not go out tomorrow, but it'll certainly go out someday. Go put it to good use while it lasts. Even if you're not into production, the Gates of Hell is still a good site to visit with friends and loved ones. Darkness is not just intimate, but it sparks the imagination. See you next time.